If you don't think Eli Manning belongs in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you don't know anything about NFL football and you haven't watched close enough. Because if there was ever a Hall of Famer, it is Eli Manning. You want to go and look at his bad stats during the regular season and bring those up as a reason that he doesn't get into the Hall of Fame. And, his regular seasons weren't that good. And he threw a lot of interceptions and blah, 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 blah. But then on the flip side, you go and say that Tom Brady is the GOAT because he won all these Super Bowls. Not that he won them by himself, but that he won all these Super Bowls. So you have a high premium on Super Bowls, correct? All of these anti-Eli people. Kelvin, just hold on. Your turn is coming.
How do you know I'm not pro-Eli?
All right, I just already know. And then, what does Eli do? He wins 2 Super Bowls against Tom Brady, of all people. He knocks off the 18-0 Patriots. Remember, they had to send those T-shirts to Haiti, all right? That they were going to be 19-0 and win the Super Bowl of Patriots. Remember all that? We never saw those T-shirts. That was because of Eli Manning. And not only did he just win 2 Super Bowls and beat Tom Brady twice, he was the MVP in both Super Bowls and had a signature throw in each Super Bowl, so he wasn't there along for the ride. If he doesn't make those throws, the Giants don't win those Super Bowls. Oh, that helmet catch was lucky. That wasn't the game-winning touchdown. He still had to find Plaxico Burress to win that game. That throw to Manningham up the sideline might be one of the greatest throws we've ever seen in a National Football League game. Get out of your feelings. Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer. Yesterday, today, next week, next month. It's about winning the big games. And that's what he did. Stop it already, Kelvin Washington.
Can we give him a round of applause? Somebody give him a round of applause. First of all, your New York bias just came out all over the place right there. That was absolutely New York bias. Now let's talk about Hall of Fame versus Hall of Mid. Is it Hall of Fame or is it Hall of Mid? Because the last time I checked, one of the things we respected about the NFL is the fact that it's difficult to get into the Hall of Fame, right? Who's a better player, Eli Manning or Terrell Owens? We all would say Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens doesn't get in first ballot. Now, eventually he would get in, but we like the standards the NFL has created, right? This is the Hall of Fame. We make fun of the NBA because it's easy to get into the Hall of Fame. They let just about anybody in because it's the Basketball Hall of Fame. Now, let's talk about the numbers you just chose to ignore. Yes, he has 2 Super Bowl wins. Credit him for that. But let me ask you this. Was it Eli or was it that defense? Rob G, was it that front 4 or was it Eli? Because last time I checked, it was Michael Strahan, Justin Tuck, and them boys. And my man Jason Pierre-Paul, who blew off his fingers. That's who was getting it done for them. They weren't lighting it up offensively. They were mid even going into the postseason run. They were just barely a 500 getting into the postseason. Now, you want to ignore the fact that your Hall of Fame quarterback is 117 wins to 117 losses. The literal definition of mid. Like exactly mid. 48-67 after that Super Bowl you're referring to. Only 48 wins and 67 losses after that Super Bowl win. He only went to the playoffs 6 out of 16 years. Only went to the Pro Bowl 4 times. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to get in because of that last name. If his name was
ain't got nothing to do with his name.
If his name was Eli Smith, you would go, yeah, he was a quality player. He's a solid player.
While you reading off those weak-ass stats, I got something for you. You ready?
Please, hit me with something.
Manning joined Brady, Mahomes, Montana, Bart Starr, Terry Bradshaw as the only multiple winners of Super Bowl MVP awards. And guess what? Every one of those dudes is in the Hall of Fame.
And
so how in the world is Eli Manning not going to join that group when he's one of only 5 or guys who have done it?
There is Izzy, and then there's Shouldy. Is he going to? Because he ain't Eli Smith, he's Eli Manning? Yes. Should he? No. Should he be considered? Yeah. He's got 2 Super Bowl wins. Not mad at that. That's not an argument. Had a nice career in that regard.
Who did he beat in the Super Bowls? Can you tell me that?
Tom
Brady.
Brady.
He beat your GOAT. Is that Tom Brady your GOAT?
Tom Brady is
Brady's your GOAT, but
he's the
Eli
greatest,
beat
not
him
the
twice.
best, but he is the greatest. Yeah, credit him. But
Did he beat the 18-0 Patriots?
So why are we lowering the standard now? The Hall of Fame in the NFL is the hardest to get into, right?
No, it ain't. Major League Baseball is the hardest to get into.
And if you want to say that, I'm not mad at that. The reason why they're both heralded is because of the standard they've set. Eli Manning, you can't tell me he's literally mid 500 exactly. You can't tell me post that Super Bowl win, he almost lost 20 more games than he won. You can't tell me he only made the postseason 6 times out of 16 years, Rob. Come on, Rob Parker.
It ain't just about
I agree.
It's about the big moments.
But it's supposed to be the totality of your career, right? The totality of your career.
But when you have shining moments in the biggest moments, that's why people look at you and say he's able to perform when it matters most. That's why we don't put guys who are regular season quarterbacks who put up a pile up numbers, but they can't win the big games. Like that. That is the problem. You always have to win the championship or win the MVP or something of that ilk. That's what separates you. That's what makes you an all-time great.
But it has to be the totality of everything you've done. Like, for instance, I agree. We're not going to say Michael Jordan won all these and he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame because of those Wizard years. It's the totality. And all I'm simply saying is, aside from the 2 Super Bowl wins, he literally was either, solid or bad. He was either, Eli, or bad.
Ain't it about winning, though? Okay, I'll give you a perfect example. Yeah. And I use it all the time because this is what drives home the point. Marv Levy was the coach of the Buffalo Bills. He went to 4 straight Super Bowls. Nobody ever mentions him as the all-time greatest coach in the NFL. You know why? Because he didn't win. And it's about winning the big game. That's what Eli did. You could have the regular season. During those 2 Super Bowl runs, he was 5-0 on the road.
But you got to stop acting like he was out there Pat Mahomesing or he was out there.
How did they win? Both of those games were won at the end.
But the defense,
it was at the end.
Literally held an offense that was scoring like crazy, setting records with touchdown passes.
Games.
That team shut down. You mentioned that 18-0, that Patriot team who had been scoring crazy points. Randy Moss catching 18 plus touchdowns.
But they were still losing in that game despite it.
And the defense held Tom Brady to that. I'm not saying Eli Manning did not have a solid game. What I'm simply saying is, consideration for Hall of Fame? Sure. In the Hall of Fame? No. And in fact, don't ask me. NewJersey.com polled 39 Hall of Famers. 11 of them said yes, 10 said no, and 9 are undecided. Meaning, you're acting like this is surefire. Like this is just like he's a walking around Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. His own fellow Hall of Famers, possibly, if he gets in, are like, sounds like mid to me. 11 said yes, 10 said no, 9 undecided.
What did the majority say?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
He needs the vast majority. In fact, no, they didn't. The majority said either no or undecided. 19-11 there, too.
All right, here we go. This is going to be interesting. Let's start with Kyle in Tacoma, Washington. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Kyle?
How's it going?
Doing great.
Show on radio.
Thank you, my
man.
What's
up, Kyle?
On a Worship Wednesday. All power to the man above. All credit due. Now, let me just say, I'm with Rob on this one. No doubt about it. Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer. It's not like he was a bum, and then he had the most important attribute in sports: clutch.
Yes,
clutch. If you are on a team with somebody, and he might not be the best player, but he is serviceable, and he is clutch, you are glad he is your teammate, and he won the big game in the NFL postseason, which there's no series involved. It's win or go home, and he did a lot more winning than he did going home. including those were wild card playoff berths.
Yes.
That's an extra game. That's an extra game.
He had
Well,
five.
how about
he had
you
five,
not have to be in the wild card?
He had 5
Or-
road playoff games during those 2 Super Bowls. 5. He was
Come
5-0. 5-0 on the road.
Kyle, how about you not be in a wild card game? Because he was mid, 117 and 170. He's the definition of mid, but I appreciate the call,
Kyle, thank you. Yes. Thank you. How about Jennifer in Sacramento? You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Jennifer?
Hi there.
How are you?
Good. Thanks for taking my call. So I agree with Kelvin about Eli Manning being mid, but I really wanted your guys' input on someone like Phillip Rivers, who's a lot of talk about making the Hall of Fame.
Phillip Rivers has no hardware to speak of.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
So it's funny. Thank you for the call, Jennifer. And Jennifer brought up a great point. Rob G and I were talking earlier today, and the first person I brought up, Rob, was Phillip Rivers, because Phillip Rivers, by talent, if I lined them both up and let's say they were playing, we were just watching the quarterbacks, no names, no nothing, and I said, well, which one of those guys do you want? You take Phillip Rivers over Eli Manning. However, to your point, he did not win the big game enough. He didn't. If he would have just even gotten to a Super Bowl, maybe he doesn't win, I think he could be in much more in the conversation, but he's not. Unfortunately, Jennifer, I feel you though.
Thanks for the call. Bruno in Brooklyn, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Bruno? Bruno, you there? All right, we lost
Bruno, he is not there.
Kevin in Arizona, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Kev?
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I don't want this to come off like I'm an Eli hater, because if he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Where I struggle is how you're making him sound to be like so great, because if you were to take Dan Marino, Dan Fouts, you would take those the skill sets they have over Eli. And if you want to say Super Bowls, Elway and his brother Peyton both have 2 Super Bowl trophies, and you would take both of them over Eli.
No, I wouldn't take Eli. Thanks for the call. In a big game, in a must, with a big throw in a big situation, I'm taking Eli.
But why do you?
Sorry.
Okay, here's the thing.
I'm taking Eli even over Peyton.
And that's a fair point. I understand that, because I think there's a nervous and a perfectionism that Peyton had. Right? He would get tight. It has to be perfect. But you keep saying in a big game. You know what you're doing? That drives me crazy. What people do? You start talking about who's the best basketball player, and they go, "Whoa, last second shot. Who do you want, Kobe or LeBron?" Since when did the metric for best basketball player be last shot?
No.
When did the metric for a Hall of Fame quarterback be just this last throw or something?
It's not
It's the whole, I'm a franchise, and I got a 22-year-old for the next 10 to 15 years. You want Peyton or Eli?
I want Eli in the big game.
You do not want Eli. I didn't ask you big game.
In a big game.
15 years, Peyton or Eli?
I'm going to take Eli if it talks about
Rob, you look at this man's face.
winning Super Bowls and making plays when it matters. All right, let's squeeze one more in. Daniel in Boise, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Daniel?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Doing great.
What's up, Dick?
Daniel, give us your input. I'm curious to hear what you got to say.
All right, so I'm with Kelvin on this one, man.
What?
I don't think, honestly, I'm not going to say Eli sucks at all, but I don't even think he belongs in the conversation, man. It sounds like you're basing it fully on the big game. And if that were the case, then, I finally heard his name with that last caller. Dan Marino wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
No, but Dan Marino set all kinds of other records. He has stats and all that. It's not just on that. My thing is, when you talk about the history of the NFL,
I ain't got to bring up Eli.
Yes, you do, because he beat the Patriots and that 18-0 team with Tom Brady. There ain't no way you can make that conversation. You'll say, wow, Tom Brady lost 3 Super Bowls. Who beat him? Eli Manning beat him twice.
You're right, the Giants did.
What can you say about Eli, though? That's about it. Like, you could go on for days about somebody like Dan Marino who never got a ring. But you can't do that about Eli, and that's where I'm siding with Calvin, because you got to be above and beyond the normal NFL player.
He is above and beyond. I mean, are you kidding me?
He's literally mid. Daniel, thank you for the call, brother. Look, Rob,
Absolutely.
It's not that those were not significant wins. Nobody's questioning that. Nobody's questioning that he had some good games and playoffs. The only thing I'm saying is this is supposed to be a very difficult, as Deion Sanders always says, best of the best of the best of the best, and there needs to be a hall. He shouldn't just be getting in because, hey, for 2 days, 2 Sundays in his whole career, he was pretty good. That's all I'm saying.
Marv Levy couldn't win a Super Bowl as a coach. And he's in the Hall of Fame.
Marv, leave him alone.
Marv, leave him alone.
Marv, leave him alone is what you need to do.